Okay, it's day 7, Masters of the Genius Universe. We're a week in. How about that? Oh my goodness, what a week it has been. Amazing. Yeah, big energy, big movement, amazing sharing. Oh, I'm loving it. And every time we reach out to do a consciousness link up, oh, just brilliant power, magic, awe, wonder. It's amazing.
And great feedback.
Yeah, great feedback and sharing from everybody as well. So we're loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
So today, this is Easter Monday. Today, when we're filming this, so it's going to show tomorrow on the Tuesday. When we did the 10 a.m. consciousness link up, I felt as if the whole world was being visited by the dreamer of creation. You could say God. And there was this this sense of awe and humbleness in the majesty and presence of that for me. And I heard about the power of ecstatic awe, which is one of the topics we want to cover. So that's the topic we're going to cover today, the power of ecstatic awe. And while I was doing that consciousness link up, I also got, because you know me in language, that I had just been God, Gawed.
Sounds like
awed,
God.
awed by the presence of God,
Very creative.
which was kind of fun. Yeah, yeah. And you know, to talk about the power of ecstatic awe, it's amazing to me that when you get yourself in that high vibing, ecstatic love of life, when it's pulsing through every cell of you, not just, oh, I love my life, not just that sense of contentment and happiness, but that sense of, oh my God, I love being alive on this miraculous planet, in this genius universe, in this source-filled miraculous reality. It just fills you with chills and wonder and awe and exhilaration and this ecstatic feeling. And it is that state of vibrational frequency that for me is where some of the most amazing experiences happen and where the miraculous hits the road. Right there. That's, you put the pedal to the metal, you hit the ecstatic awe frequency, and you're in the game of the miraculous. You're on the road. So, we want to talk a little bit more about that and take you into the experiences of that today. So that's for me. Santari, anything for you about the power of ecstatic awe, wonder, high vibe and frequency?
I guess we have different feelings about it. It seems to change from time to time about what it is. But it is that feeling about a love of the connection, of the connectivity with this power, let's call it. And that you recognize it in some way, that it may seem to be something that you've had before and then you didn't have, but now you've reconnected again. And I think sometimes that might be part of the awe process too, the sense of the restoration, of the fulfillment, of the being brought back together. And I do believe that we are really one amazing creative genius intelligence that somehow is able to perform these experiences in which we just have the taste of, and then we are able to take it to another stage, another level. So the vibration, the ecstatic excitement, I think can be measured in terms of, well, what are you wanting to do next? Where are you wanting to go next? Do you still have that feeling of drive, of that love for life? Because if you haven't, then something's died. So, we want to find out what is the drive, what is the powerful force which seems to allow us to go forward and go beyond and explore and to be excited by what is coming and where we will take ourselves next. And I think this is to some extent, the ecstatic state. But I say, sometimes it comes in different ways and almost like different waves as well. And that feeling of excitement sometimes is like Yeah, I've had this feeling before, but now I'm more powerful than I was before when I was in this place. Now I'm more wiser. Now somehow something has seemed to have exploded in me and allowed me to look further and be more visionary. And so the awe itself seems to change and dance depending on your relationship with it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, let's start with a bit of an exercise to see where we can get to with this. So, I often say to people, think of something you love. Cooking, skiing, scuba diving, paragliding, swimming, whatever it is, dancing, something you love. Just think of something you love and breathe that feeling through all of you. It does for me, it sort of rises up from within. It's like a bubbling effervescence rising up and filling you. Well, that's not the ecstatic power of awe. That's something you love, which is passion and sparkiness, and it's lovely. Okay, now take that, and I want you to now fall wildly in love with the universe. Let yourself feel that breath of being moved as it fills you up head to toe. Actually seek the emotive response to the universe in creation, the geniusness of it all, the awe, the wonder, the reconnection, the expanded awareness, the infinite intelligence, the stars that explode and the sun that lights our world and the galaxies that swirl and dance and create the next consciousness of the next worlds. And call the whole force of life, call that anything you want. The creator, the dreamer, the source. And stand right in the presence of that. And let yourself experience the awe as it fills you up, and breathe it more, exhilarate it more, take it times 100. Put a smile on your face and let it be so full of energy you've got to burst it into the world all around you. You've got to fill up the universe with the ecstatic feeling of awe, of wonder, of delight, of that feeling of being moved. And sometimes it's gentler and more graceful, and sometimes it's passionate and fervent and powerful. But you can breathe that sense of it. And you let yourself surrender into the ecstatic awe of it all. And as you do that, you are powering up the universe itself in creation. You become the force, the grand force of creation that you are breathing. And it pours through you. And it fills the universe with majesty. And just like when we talk about when you see who another being is and you allow yourself to be moved, it's the same thing. When you allow yourself to be moved by the universe, by the world, by nature, by the skies, by the oceans, by the animals, by the people, when you allow yourself to be moved, something miraculous happens. That's where all the magic is. Right there, in that frequency, in that state. You have superseded yourself. It is completely you experiencing it, but it's so far beyond yourself and the normalcy of life that you suddenly find yourself in a reality that is just charged with genius, charged with possibility, charged with movement and power. And you become its creator in that moment. It's a paradoxical slip-slide moment where you are in awe of the wonder of that which creates, and then you become the Creator, as you slide into the power of ecstatic awe. You can feel it sliding through every cell in your body. And if you run that through every cell, tip to toe, I have this theory that no disease can exist in the space of that high vibe frequency. And there's just this wonderful, it's kind of peace within yourself, but it's a power peace spot. It's not a contend peace spot. It's a the peace that passeth understanding. It's a different kind of peace. It's like a full contentment inside your being, that you are where you're supposed to be, that you are doing what you're supposed to do, that you are in the right place, in the right time, doing the most powerful thing that your being could possibly participate within. It's that kind of peace.
So that was what I was suggesting about the ecstaticism, that there are different ways in which you can experience it. And when you first said about something you love, my immediate thought was the universe. It wasn't about a bar of chocolate or a loved one. It was the universe. And I think that it's a very easy role for me to be in, to see myself as the creator of the universe as well. It's just like something just automatically comes into place. And there I am. My hands are the hands that are really shaping the whole construct that is this energy flux, which we call a universe. And I see that as I do it, it is about my feeling of it, that there is this some place that is touched by what is being witnessed and by what is being achieved. And at the same time, there's the movement of energy. My hands are actually changing the flow of the energy and allowing something to materialize from it. And then I also see that there's this big column of energy that seems to go through the whole thing itself. It just comes to me that I'm an alchemist, that I work on this level, that I shape things of beauty, in which people will participate because they are drawn to these moments of the creation of beauty and the witnessing of a new form of life that is being presented in this moment. And I think that's where really you go to a vastness of yourself, of your knowing of what to do and who to be and why you do these things, and the extent to which you're given this ability to see yourself in this way. And I think it is it cannot be talked of in human terms per se. You've got to look at it in a different context entirely. You've got to see that you are creating a universal power, and that in that universal power experience, there isn't the, oh, let me put in this bit of love here, or peace here, or anything that you might see as a human thought about what to add to the universe. It is about, you're looking at a grand design of something that is beautifully made and presented and constructed. It has its own knowing of itself, its own life force, its own intelligence, and you are adding something to it which allows it to grow and to expand the intelligence within its own core. And I think that's a very persuasive thing to talk about when people want to know what to do with their lives. You say, well, look to see how this universe is shaped. How is it created? Close your eyes for a moment. be in the power of the awe and witness its creation for yourself. See the grand designer assembling all these different elements and feel the power emanating within you as if these things are being put into place inside of you, and somehow that you are being alchemized and you're transcending your knowing of being a human being into this galactic being, into this universal being, into this beyond all of this being. How are you now going to feel about creation? Not as a concept or as something which you feel you understand, but as something which somehow elevates the power of your own knowing about what is done to this universe and how you now can be part of its own construction.
Mm.
It is a thing of beauty. You know, that for me is what draws me to look at it that way. There's something which is so beautiful about the graciousness, the gracefulness, the grandeur, about how you are so gentle with such an amazing thing that is held in your hands. And that your hands aren't just hands, your hands are instruments of design, and that you're almost like creating complex patterns with which life can associate with other forms of life, and in which you can allow an intelligence to really go far beyond a universe and far beyond what we presently know of creation. And I think that is a gift that we basically give ourselves as these creative forces and designers of intelligence.
Mm. Yeah. You know, I love that. That was beautiful. I remember years back when it was so hard to sustain a high vibrational frequency. And now it's so easy to live in that high vibe frequency. Yes, I can make it higher by choice. In fact, I do it first thing every morning when I'm in the shower. I get into that ecstatic awe and I run that frequency through me head to toe. I make sure I do that at least once a day, if not multiple times a day. Because that sets me for the day to operate in that frequency. And if I notice that I've dropped my level, all I have to do is just it puts me right back into the place. It expands my awareness. It puts all my senses on high alert. It opens up the power core. It puts me in the pathways of the miraculous streams and the genius flows and the possibilities waiting to enrich us. And you're right, I become an enchanter of creation. At that moment, that experience of ecstatic awe allows me to have the power to enchant creation itself. And it's so interesting because when you're in that state of ecstatic awe, there is no ego. It's not me doing it. You're reveling in the experience of it happening. But there's not like, wow, I'm amazing. You do have the feeling like, oh my God, that was amazing. And oh my God, I didn't know I could do that. You do have that, but there's none of that. It's all about me stuff. It doesn't exist in the frequency of ecstatic awe. Everything you need to perform the miraculous already exists in the frequency of ecstatic awe. The expanded awareness, the infinite intelligence, the knowing of what to do, the power to make it so, the possibility, all of it exists in that frequency band. So if I was going to describe frequency bands, you know, when I wake up in the morning and I'm having this kind of low-level thoughts, sometimes I do, especially if I've watched yucky TV the night. Well, if I've watched yucky TV the night before, sometimes I can. So that kind of occurs like kind of here for me. Doesn't ever get much lower than that. And then when I'm having a good day, it's kind of like here for me. And when I'm right up and doing consciousness work, it's here for me. But when I'm doing ecstatic awe, it is here for me. You can feel the power core kick in. And it's like you enlarge yourself from within, and you reach out to an expanded awareness that's beyond, beyond, beyond. And you have to touch that frequency in order to get the really great stuff. If you are moved to tears by the universe shall be moved. If you are moved to tears by the human race shall become all that it can be. It's as simple as that. And it is that place of ecstatic awe that gives us the supercharged power and ability to be able to make that so.
And sometimes we we want the sun to shine, and just like today, it didn't start off completely the sun shining, but it's about our feeling about how the sun can shine. That almost like parts the clouds, and suddenly the light is streaming through. And I think that's how you've got to play with this. So for me, that was when you sort of think about something you love. The universe was directly there. It was just like this ball of light. There was more than a ball of light, of course. It was just like there was this activity. And I therefore am the being who really revels in being with this object of beauty, with this energy of amazing creative potential. But it's not that I say, and now I'm going to shape something and create something. It is just the feeling of being there with something that you love. And maybe I have created this, I as the creative intelligence have created this universe. But as you say, it is not an I that is this being here. I.
Individual personal I.
It is an I that knows that it is the creation and the creator combined, and that somehow there's a willingness to not only to accept that, but a willingness to say, this is what I do. This is the power with which I do things. This is the level at which I operate. I only have to think of this moment where I'm doing this thing with the universe, of loving it, of powering it, of moving it, of shaping it, of putting something of my essence into it. And therefore there's a continuity. And if you feel that continuity rather than you and it are separate, if you feel the continuity, then it is like the power is completely unleashed. If you feel that you and the universe are doing a dance together and you're putting things into it, but you're not part of it, then you are really just doing something with the universe. But when you're in the interplay of creation, then you and the universe are really combined together. And whatever you wish for the universe is automatically granted, because you're giving it to yourself almost like a gift.
Yeah. And because you're in an expansive, energetic awareness and field, the moment you have it, everything has it.
Everything has it.
Because you are the universe doing that in that moment. Yeah. I was thinking about, a lot of people, and probably all of us at some point in time, there's a yearning for that which we would call home. That sense of ultra connection, that sense of ecstatic awe, where we knew something grander. And I think ecstatic awe is the route into that, into finding that place and creating that place here as well. I believe that this ecstatic awe takes you into a transcendent space where you've uplifted your physicality, your consciousness, your awareness, the reality that surrounds you, your home, your work, your everything just uplifts into a transcendent state where that is the the reality that you exist in, and then everything else, for me, everything else that comes in touch with that reality is that. There's nothing in my reality that isn't that. You know? So it's amazing to be able to do that. And I think the more of us go there, the more of us stand in the power of ecstatic awe, the more we can make the whole of reality that level of frequency available for everyone.
I think it's as simple as you consider it and it's already done. And I say that just by going and feeling the field of the universe as a living being, and knowing that somehow we are created together, everything that you've just talked about is already done, it's already achieved, and everything is in awe of itself, and enlightened, and moved, and transcended, transformed, whatever words you want to put upon it, it's already a done deal. There are no tipping points here, not in this realm of creative reality. It's like as soon as you know of it and can conceive of it, everything becomes it. Because that is the way that everything is orchestrated together. That is the way that everything is married together. It is shaped together. It's not like things have to conform or the compromises have to be made. No, everything just automatically is in a flowed state, a fluid state, a flux state, in which just changes just happen all the time, and beauty abounds, and light dances effortlessly in the molecules and the particles in which we feel that this creation is made.
Mm.
But I say, you have to almost like reside in the, oh yes, I know of this place. I am somehow so much this place and associated with it that I know its most intimate parts, and therefore everything that you can conceive of is really so beautifully touched by your consideration of it, your thought of it, your love of it, and your creative zeal to want to have it be so much more of itself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Creative zeal. I love that. Well, I wonder if we could use an example. So for me, I want to go do it with the human race. So I would invite others, if you want to do it with the human race with me, go for it. But if you want to choose something else, you've just done it with the universe. But if you're, whatever you're called to, because as a master, you will know what you're called to. So just think, what would you like to bring the transformative, miraculous, genius awe to move into its beautiful, ecstatic unfolding? Okay? So, everybody get what you're going to work on? I've got the human race, the whole of them. Okay, now, be with whatever it is you're working with in that space of ecstatic awe. Well, for me, I didn't end up doing the whole of the human race. I did a little bit of that. I ended up going to the darkest and the most lost parts of the human race to see if I could get to the place through ecstatic awe with a complete acceptance that would transform them with no agenda or expectation of anything being changed. And it was fascinating for me. I just kind of found my way to it. And suddenly I was being with people who do harm to other people, and people who are just lost in themselves and confused and who carry kind of darkness with them. And I could see that they too are God experimenting with him herself. And I could see that, I want to say that the experiment wasn't kind of working. I think that's part of the human race. We've been an experiment. And if I could be with them from the ecstatic awe of their experiment and their experiences and the learning that has come from it, then I could raise something from it and take it to another level of itself, themselves. And that's exactly what happened, and is still happening now. It's bursting into its glory, its true nature, its true potential and genius possibility. And I know there are some who are watching this who would say they would shed the light into all the spaces that might not have the light. I didn't find myself doing that, but I saw others in the network doing that, others in the collective. And for me, it was my ability to love them and to feel for them and to partner them in moving that experiment to a grander place, having garnered all the gems of genius from whatever that was. And suddenly it just, like dandelions blowing in the wind, it just frees from them. I can't even imagine what it would be like to live a life of being lost. And there are so many who do. And they are courageous. And almost undaunted, even though it's daunting for them. And I am moved to tears by them. And in my being moved, I'm intending with ecstatic awe that they are liberated, that the lost are found, that the darkness is made lighter, and that the true, brilliant connection of life just streams through vibrantly, passionately, powerfully every single living fiber of every single living being everywhere. That charge of ecstatic awe races through their veins and pulses through their fingertips and pours through their hearts and cores and minds. And that ecstatic genius is theirs for the playing. Wow.
So the experiment was a success. They were just waiting for you.
Us to do that.
Yes, but you as being the initiator.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one who cares.
I do.
Yes, well I think that is the level place you got to care in the first place. Whether you care about a person or the universe or a race. I mean, there's got to be some sort of movement occurring which allows something then to take place at the most deep and profound levels of the experience.
I see there is no reason for people to stay lost anymore or to stay in what the human race would see as darkness anymore. The fabric of the universe has moved on from that experience. The earth has moved on from that experience. There's no longer a need for that to be held by us.
Not at all.
And we can release all that lesser frequency. I don't mean that in a judgmental sense at all. I just mean that that lesser band of frequency can be uplifted and brought into its proper true place. It can come home.
Yep. It's the old, that which is lost is found.
I do care deeply about the human race. It matters to me.
Yes. Well, I think what we really believe about and feel about is what is our contribution, really. We use it, we draw upon it. And I'd say for me it probably would be all races, all beings, all life everywhere. And I think that I would say that I'm considerate. And because of that, I also feel that I have to do things on a big scale. Because if I do it on the big scale, it automatically changes everything everywhere, even to the smallest molecules, particles. And I think that's, the pleasure, the excitement about doing this in the first place. How is it going to turn out? What is it going to become next? And it's going to be amazing, of course. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just shifting its way through.
I was thinking about, not everybody's will be for the human race. Like Morgine, who's watching this, would be for all of the animals and nature. And Jeanette, our friend who works with horses, would be for the horses and all the animals and nature. And others might be for the stars, and others might be for the light itself, and others will be for the earth itself. And we all have our specialties where we care profoundly for it. And it's interesting that we've ended up talking about caring. I remember, Santari, the very first sentence I read of your Magica book was, "I am a being who cares." And that it stayed with me even now. It just resonates for me. Because in an older paradigm, in a lesser frequency, caring can get you into trouble. You can be too trusting, you can get taken advantage of, you can be too empathic. But in the high ecstatic frequency, caring is the pathway to the miraculous.
Well, caring for me is about a love of things, which is so powerful in itself that it would be nothing else but the transformative change that everything is desires and wants, and somehow you are impelled to give it, and so you care. And by that caring, it's like things shift, and they listen, and they turn in, and they attune to, and then they align, and then they become, and then it's just like everything orchestrates to that symphony of what it is that you've put into motion. I think that's what I say about being this creator who has the universe in these amazingly powerful hands. Like, these are the hands which are protecting. These are hands which are generating the life force itself and bringing things into the next phase of how things will next be and how they will turn out. It's their hands of shaping creation.
And again, it's that sense of superseding yourself. Even as you said that, you became more powerful, but it really wasn't about you. You became the creator shaping creation, so there was no I or ego or me-ness in it.
That's how it is.
Yeah, you supersede yourself through ecstatic awe, through the frequency of ecstatic awe, to become something vast, extraordinary, and to ride the streams, the magical, miraculous, powerful streams of what that ecstatic awe can bring you.
Yes, well, when we have the world talking in these terms, having these conversations, working genius, being powerfully creative, yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. So I think that kind of wraps it up complete for me. So, I would say, put yourself in the frequency, in the space of ecstatic awe today. Start your day with it. End your day with it. And see what happens in between that. And anything you need to come to that requires you to be more. Bring yourself to the place of ecstatic awe. Then come into it and see what wants to move and let it unfold for you. It's just amazing. And God, I've loved the work we've just done together on this call. It's really touched me deeply, as you could see. And I don't think there's anything greater in this world that I would rather do than that which we are doing together right now as a collective. Wow. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Santari, anything for you?
No, I think we've said it all.
Be in ecstatic awe today, everyone. Love you lots.
Yes. Until the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.